Hi, this is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing Today. I'm at the Search Engine Strategies Conference in San Jose, and today with me is Maxine Grossman of GOT Corporation, experts in email marketing. For years, email marketers have been blasting out to thousands and thousands of people. As a matter of fact, in the industry, the blast is the terminology that's used by list brokers and that kind of thing. But that can get us in trouble. And we were talking about this earlier. What are some of the kinds of trouble it gets you in if you're just blasting to people?
That's a really good point. It can get you into trouble because what happens is that your customers no longer feel that you're really speaking to them, and they might start to complain, and instead of unsubscribing from your list, they might mark your email as junk or unwanted, and that can harm your reputation. If many of your readers start marking your campaigns as junk, that's going to hurt your ability to get them to the inbox. So we try to move away from the blast and really towards more relevant content to them.
And one of the kisses of death is they don't unsubscribe, they don't mark you as anything, but they no longer open you. And so they're not quite sure they want to get rid of you, but they don't open it anymore because it just isn't relevant to them on a regular basis. So what are some of the things that we can do to get around that?
Well, some of the ideas that we can do is really start to find some natural groupings in your list. So it might be segmenting by males versus females, or East Coast versus West Coast, or two different product groups that you have. So when you look at your products and services or at your list, see if you can find some natural groupings where you can start to segment out your list, and that will allow you to begin tailoring your message. It doesn't have to get complicated. You can just start with 2 or 3 different groups, but by tailoring your message to those individual groups, you're going to be much more relevant to them. That's going to get your emails open more, read more, and going to help you stay relevant to those readers.
Now, most email software programs I've seen allow people to mark various characteristics. Some of them produce another list, which isn't exactly what we want. We want to keep the same list but mark various characteristics so that you can send out to people with those characteristics. It sounds like a lot of work to start with in the segmentation, but then it becomes really valuable because those lists now become more responsive and more likely to be opened.
That's right, and it doesn't have to be a lot of work to start with. A lot of the services out there will give you the tools to very easily segment your list. It's what we call attributes. So if you can visualize your list, of course you might have first name, last name, and email address, but think about what other attributes you might have. Is it zip code, or the last purchase date from you, or their product or interest? Any fields that you have in your database is the foundation for your segmentation. So it can be very easy to get started and will, as you're saying, really provide value down the road for you to build on.
Now, how about personalization? How much better is your response if you have some personalization in your email? By that I mean using the person's name, for example, in the body or perhaps the subject line.
Using the person's name can go a really long way in the subject line. Of course, it will be more eye-catching and people will know that you're really writing to them, so that can really boost your open rates. And of course, if you write dear first name, that will again help that message feel more personalized. That's the first step in personalization, and then you can even go much deeper than that and not only address them personally, but really talk about those concepts or topics that are going to interest that person the most.
One of the things that is necessary, kind of an assumption we're making here, is that people actually collect first and last names. For years with Web Marketing Today, I've made it a point to collect first and last names for a couple of reasons. One is so that I can say, dear so-and-so, and build a relationship through the email. The open rates of having the first name in a subject line typically increase. But if you're trying to find somebody who says, you know, I'm changing my email address, but they don't give you the old email address, if you only have their first name, good luck. But if you have their last name, the chances are that you can actually find them and make that change. So I really recommend, as you're collecting email addresses, include the first and last names, at least that, with the email address in your database and perhaps other information. But it's worth the extra effort to do that, and though it may reduce a little bit the number of people who will sign up, I think it's really important for building a relationship with that customer that will last over a long period of time. What other kind of tips do you have to get people to open your emails over a long period of time rather than kind of forget you after a while?
Well, I think the key, as we've been touching on, is really to stay relevant. And you brought up a good point about collecting data. So if you are collecting first name, last name, and email address, think about one or two other fields of data that you might want to collect that are really salient to your business. So their favorite interest or favorite product of yours. And then when you send them content that responds to their interests, that will keep their interest fresh in your products because you're really speaking to them. People want to receive news that's relevant to them. So if I use myself an example, I'm a BlackBerry user. I'll want to know what features and new functionality are coming out of BlackBerry. That's relevant to me as a customer, whereas I might not be interested in some other features or functionalities of other products. So by keeping your messages relevant over time, you're going to continue to be opened, and also keep a consistent frequency. Make sure that you're not mailing too often or too infrequently. So right when you've got something new to say and people will look forward to your emails, they'll know that they can always expect to hear relevant, good information from you.
Now, one of the things that's appeared in about the last 3 years, at least at the level that small businesses can afford, are products like your Campaigner Pro that not only track the open rate, but also allow a person to track what they're clicking through to and what happens on the website. Well, Maxine, thank you for taking time with us today. Tell me about GOT Corporation. You folks have been around serving small to medium businesses a long time.
Yeah. Well, in the email world of things, yes, it's a long time. So we've got two products on the market today. Campaigner is a tool that's really designed to get you started. So very easy to bring in your list, select a template, send the campaign out, and it helps you with deliverability and the statistics. Campaigner Pro has a lot of the features that we've been talking about today. So how do you do that dynamic content and automated follow-up and track who's clicking on what? So it really helps you get to that next level in email marketing and stay relevant.
Well, thank you for talking with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
This is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing Today.